All right, let's jump right into this explainer. Today, we're unpacking Priya Sharma's digital romance and looking closely at the anatomy of suspense. It's this brilliant look at what happens when cold, hard logic collides with pure emotional impulse. There's a deeply relatable human element here that we're going to unpack, so let's get right to it.
We drop right into the middle of our protagonist's absolute panic. He's sitting alone at a spot called the Chai and Toast Cafe, and there's just one question looping in his head like a broken record. Are you still looking for her? He feels like a total creep, right? Just glaring at every single person walking through the door. You can literally feel the anxiety. He's agonizing over why he's even in this specific city, sitting at her favorite food corner, totally unable to just let it go and move on. It's that awful, sinking feeling of chasing a ghost.
Moving into part one, the digital pen pal.
Now, what's really fascinating here is the setup of their whole relationship. Because in our modern digital era, intimacy often builds totally backwards. I mean, these aren't childhood friends with years of shared history. He knows her only through an Instagram connection that honestly looked like a completely fake profile. All he has to go on are the vague descriptions she gave him about how she looks. And to make things way worse, she has completely blocked him from her life. The digital door is slammed shut. So, logically speaking, sitting in this physical cafe waiting for a stranger who intentionally blocked you, well, it seems completely hopeless, right? Kind of bordering on delusion.
And this brings up the classic battle, the brain versus the heart. His brain is absolutely screaming at him. It's aggressively telling him she's a total stranger in a completely different city, and he needs to pack his things and leave immediately before he makes a massive fool of himself. But his heart? His heart insists she is his Rui, and flat out refuses to let him deny that he's falling deeply in love with her. Have you ever been there, where all logic points one way, but your gut just anchors you to the spot? It's a universal human experience, and Sharma captures it perfectly right here.
Okay, part two, the ticking clock dilemma. Sharma uses time as a literal weapon here to just crank up the suspense and tighten the narrative vice. Our guy has a train to catch to Mumbai, and as the clock steadily winds down, we track his brutal emotional descent. 2 hours to departure. He's incredibly anxious, nursing his chai, eyes glued to the door. Then we hit 1 agonizing hour left. The crushing weight of reality finally sets in. The hope evaporates, logic takes the wheel, and he finally decides he's giving up. So he finishes his chai, stands up, and silently says goodbye to whatever illusion they had. He thinks, damn, I am an asshole. I should fucking run now. He just feels so deeply foolish for ever thinking they were meant to meet in a place like this. He's actively choosing his brain over his heart in this moment, basically beating himself up as he walks toward the cafe's exit door. The surrender feels 100% absolute.
Which brings us to section 3, the clues to Ruhi.
You know how in storytelling, the exact moment a character completely gives up is usually the very second everything changes? Well, right as he's walking to that exit door, a girl walks in. She's got books in her hand, a shoulder bag, and she's casually chatting on her phone. And suddenly, this breadcrumb trail of identifying clues falls right into place. His heart starts recognizing these highly specific, previously vague details she'd shared during those late-night chats. She wasn't lying. There's the mole on her chin. Her eyes are brown, just like she said her mom's were, though he quickly realizes she totally forgot to mention just how unbelievably beautiful they actually are. But hey, a mole and brown eyes aren't exactly enough proof to stop you from catching a departing train to Mumbai, right? He desperately needs proof. And the absolute clincher here, the undisputable reason he knows for a fact that this is his Ruhi, is a very specific piece of jewelry she's wearing. Look at these intricate, undeniable details. A custom-made ruby heart pendant. It's got golden outlining, a delicate golden chain, and hanging right below it, a small case letter R. Why is this the smoking gun? Because he trick-gifted it to her. Months ago, he cleverly tricked her into thinking he had a random gift voucher just to get her to accept this one deeply personal gift. And where did he have it mailed? Directly to this exact address, the Chai and Toast Cafe. He'd recognize that custom necklace anywhere on Earth because he designed it himself. And this is the emotional climax of the explainer. He just stops dead in his tracks, hit by this massive tidal wave of realization. She was here. My Ruhi was here. I was seeing her for the first time, and I think I am in love. It's that beautiful, terrifying moment where logic completely, totally surrenders to the heart. He's just left standing there like a fool in awe, staring at the digital pen pal he was so sure he'd lost forever. All right, on to our final section, a sudden change of plans. Now, the story doesn't just end with some romantic stare across a crowded coffee shop. Actually, she walks right past him. Doesn't even notice he exists. She's just laughing at a joke on her phone. But pay attention to her routine here. She walks inside, cheerfully greets all the staff by name, grabs her chai, and casually strolls right behind the counter. As he's watching her perform these everyday steps, a massive puzzle piece violently snaps into place. This cafe, perfectly filled with books in the corner, smelling richly of chai and coffee, it speaks entirely of her. She doesn't just hang out here. She literally owns the place.
And right at that stunning revelation, his brain finally completely catches up with reality. How? Well, his phone buzzes in his pocket. It's his mom calling to ask the most logical, grounding question possible. Did you get on that train to Mumbai? Earlier, his brain was screaming at him to sprint to that platform. But now, looking at Ruhi smiling behind her own counter, instead of running, he simply calmly tells his mom that he might stay for a week. All that frantic tension just completely dissolves into this quiet, perfect certainty.
Which leaves us with a really powerful question to chew on. Do we find exactly what we're looking for the very second we finally surrender to fate and just give up? Our protagonist had to totally let go of his logical timeline, his strict train schedule, and all that overwhelming anxiety just to be able to see what was walking right through the front door. It's a brilliant look at the deep tension between our rigidly planned lives and the sudden, surprising serendipity of human connection. So what do you think? I really hope this explainer gave you some cool insights into how suspense, timing, and digital romance can so beautifully intertwine. Thanks for joining me, and until next time, keep analyzing the stories around you.